Okay, so today I'm going to show you how I am going to memorize Psalms 2. Um, Last week, Pastor Rocky did a great sermon on Psalm 2, and basically shared the gospel using Psalm 2. And I was like, wow. I love Psalm 1, right? And did I do it? I don't think I did a video on that. I probably will. But yeah, when he explained Psalm 2 and what was going on there, I knew of Psalm 2:7, where the Lord said to me, today you are my son, today I have begotten you. Like, I like that part. But when he explained the whole thing, anyways, watch the sermon. It's going to be in the description. Watch that first, then come back here if you want to memorize it. So hopefully I can help you out. I'll show you how I'm going to do it, but watch that sermon first. Okay. Now I'm assuming you watched it. Now you're back. But yeah, so how am I going to memorize it? I just set it up. Let me share the screen. I'm going to do the desktop version this time. Share, because I'm using this. Here we go. Psalm 2. I'm on the Bible Gateway. Yeah. We're gonna do I'm gonna do the ESV version. I was struggling which one to do, because I usually do NIV, NASB 995, or ESV, right? And I was just like, which one do I do? But for me, like, I really like this kiss the son portion. Pastor Rocky talks about what that means, and I was like, I really like the wording on that. The cool thing about memorizing scripture, you can actually kind of interchange if you want to. Like, some verses you can use NIV, some verses, NASB, but today we're going to do ESV, okay? So yeah, Psalm 2, there's 12 verses. So what I did was I found a location that the location I'm going to use is a doctor's office that we visit. And I'm going to choose 12 furnitures, 12 locations that I'm going to put to memorize each verse, right? So I'm just going to show this real quick. And this is what I do a lot. I take a video, that's my son right there. I take a video of any place that I visit, and then, so that I can use it. So anytime I want to use it, I have a memory palace. So I have a bunch of these pictures. If you saw my other videos, I go to IKEA, but IKEA is kind of hard because, I wouldn't advise any, people who are new at this to do that. I think I've said this before, because you want to use a location that you're very familiar with. Then you don't have to worry about, oh, where was this? Where was this? Oh, where was the sink? Where was the table or anything like that? I visit this doctor's office a lot, so I already know it, but I take a video anyways because I like to see the details. Okay, so if you're gonna do this, use a location that you already know. All right, if you're very new to this. But anyways, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna choose this cabinet area, this sink area. That's verse 1 cabinet, verse 2 sink area, verse 3 will be this biohazard thing. Let's see, verse 4, I'll use this thing where you check the ears, I guess, or the mouth, I forgot, whatever. Verse 4 will be here. Verse 5 will be this bed. Verse 6, I'm gonna use this chair with my son on it. Verse 7 will be the telephone. Verse 8 will be the TV or the monitor. Verse 9 will be the keyboard area. Let's see, verse 10 will be this picture frame. Verse 11, you know what? Verse 11, I'm just going to use this white strip. And then verse 12 is going to be this chair, this circular chair. I don't like using the same, like a chair, but in this case, I don't really have a choice because I want to fit everything in one room. So I'm going to just review in my head, like what it is. So verse 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the chair, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, the chair. Okay, so that's where I have 12 locations to put my 12 verses. So what am I gonna do real quick? Okay, so the verse is, let me see if I can do it like this. Okay, why do the nations rage? What's going on here? Why do the nations rage and the peoples plot in vain. Where should I put, so on this here, so maybe Y, you could use a letter Y. So on the cabinet, there's a Y here, and then why do the nations rage? Why, and then maybe nations, nations, I kind of use like a map type of image that I have, and rage is anger. So I can imagine like nations, and then maybe like the Rampage, that video game where there's a monkey or gorilla and dinosaurs like tearing down buildings or something. So maybe I imagine them like tearing down this cabinet. So Y, big Y here, and then a picture of the nations here, and then rage. So they're raging, and then the cabinet opens up because it crumbles by those the monsters breaking it down. And then I'll end the people plot in vain. So I think the keywords will be people, plot, vain. So I'll imagine a bunch of people inside this cabinet, and then they're plotting veins, like kind of planting a bunch of, your veins on the cabinet inside. So why do the nations rage? I open up the cabinet, or the cabinet falls off, and then inside you see people plotting veins, and the people's plot in vain. Okay. Then the kings of the earth set themselves, and rulers take counsel together against the Lord and against his anointed, saying, oh, that's kind of long. So what do I do? So on this sync, I'm going to use maybe the different items on here. So on here, I'll just imagine kings of the earth. So kings, like a bunch of kings here, and then they're set. I use like people getting ready to race. So I imagine kings, maybe they have a crown of the earth on it, so it just kind of remembers me, remind me of the earth. And then they're getting set like in a race, right? And the rulers take counsel together. So I'll imagine a bunch of rulers around this sink, the faucet area, and then they're like having a meeting together. So the rulers take counsel. Yeah, they're like at a table, like a round table, maybe. And then they're counseling together, a bunch of rulers, like actual rulers, the measuring sticks that you guys use, against the Lord and against his anointed. Against is I use again. I use like a weight scale, because you gain weight. But against the Lord, I might use the same thing. Against the Lord for me is Darth Vader. That's because Lord Vader, right? But for you, some people have different lords. Like some people for father, like if you see father, some people could use Darth Vader for father, because Darth Vader says, I am your father, kind of like that. But for father, I use my dad. My dad passed away, but I like to use father, my dad, for the image of father, kind of remember him too. So he's always in a bunch of my verses. But against the Lord, so Darth Vader, and against his anointed. Anointed is maybe I'll just, how do I anoint? That's gonna be kind of hard. Anoint. There was a group, I think a Christian group, that called Anointed before, so I could use them. Against the Lord and against his anointed. And that's anointed is actually talking about Jesus, right? So I might picture Jesus being anointed, by the lady. Like, so in this sync, I'll think of Darth Vader on a weight scale, and then Jesus and being anointed on a weight scale, and talking. So the kings set themselves right here, and then the rulers take counsel together here against the Lord and against his anointed, saying. So what are they saying? All right, verse 3 was here. It's kind of blurry, but it's the hazard thing. And it says, let us burst their bonds. So let us, I'll use lettuce. Lettuce. So lettuce is on top of here, and then this thing opens up. It bursts open, right? And then they're in chains, they're in bonds, right? So it just imagine some people like coming out of bonds and then cast away their cords. So cords, cast away is like kind of casting away with a fishing line, and then they're actually casting away cords. Cords is like, it could be just like something like a cord here, whatever you plug, like plugs, you know, they're casting the cords from us. Okay, so that'll be verse 3. He who sits in heaven. So he is He-Man. And verse 4 is this location right here. Ooh, this is going to be a long video. I hope. I don't know how long you want me to do this, but I'll kind of do it faster. He who, so He-Man who is blowing, sits in the heavens laugh. So maybe He-Man is sitting on top of this and he's blowing up to the heaven, and then the person sitting in heaven is laughing. It's actually God is laughing, right? So just imagine heaven opening up and God is laughing. The Lord holds them in derision. So the Lord, I'm going to have Darth Vader grab this, and then it's going to say the Lord holds. He's holding this. The Lord holds them in derision. Derision. That's, I don't know how, derision, that's in contempt. So derision. I just think of vision. So the Lord holds this, and maybe he's looking it through it like vision. He's using it to visualize, or just derision, vision. Yeah, I don't know. I got to refine it later. Anyways, that's verse 4. Verse 5 here is, then he will speak to them in his wrath. So then I use a hen with a Tennessee Titans hat for T. So then He-Man again will speak to them in his wrath. So speak, I use a beak. So maybe He-Man is throwing a beak to them, is him in his wrath. Wrath, I use a wreath. So I gotta create a funny story there that I can remember. Then he will speak to them. Maybe he's throwing the beak, and then to a wreath on this laying down table here, and terrify them in his fury, saying, and terrify. Maybe the people are getting scared in his fur, and maybe they're getting furry, something like that. This is kind of hard. Okay, verse 6 is, as for me, as is a donkey, you know, as for me, a donkey has a afro, me, I could use a minion for me. I have set my king on Zion, my holy hill. So I have is I, and then it's going have, and set my king. So he put a king on the chair, or maybe on this bag. I have set my king. So I'm put this, and this looks like a holy hill. So it's a hill with a bunch of holes in it on Zion. So Zion, I think I'll just remember that. I don't have a picture for Zion either. So as for me, so maybe on here, there'll be a donkey with the afro. As for me, I have set my king. So eyeball is setting his king. So someone with a crown on this here, my holy hill. And this, I just imagine this is a hill and it's holy. All right. Next one is 7. I will tell of the decree. So eyeball, Will is my buddy Will. You could use Will Smith. Maybe he's picking up the phone. I will tell of the decree. And the Lord, so that's Darth Vader, said to me, you are my son. Oh, my son is right here. So maybe Darth Vader's on the phone and he's saying, you are my son. Today I have begotten you. I already kind of know this verse. So Darth Vader pointing at my son saying, you are my son. Today I have begotten you. It could be a bee, a bee got something. And then he's pointing at you, something like that. Let's see. We're already on verse 8. Okay, not bad. Okay, and then ask of me. Ask is axe. So axe of me. Let me move this a little bit. Axe of me. So I imagine maybe an axe breaking this TV monitor. Axe of me, and I will make the nations your heritage. So nations I'll make. So maybe so axing this, and then there's nations pictured on here, and then your heritage, hair, maybe hair. The nations are growing hair out of, so there's hairs coming out of this monitor. So axe, nations, and the hair coming out, and the ends of the earth your possession. So I'm going to use like maybe this portion to put earth, ends of the earth. So at the end of this, there's an earth here and your possession, possess. I can think of demon possessed, but I don't know how that's gonna work. Or maybe I just imagine Darth Vader. Oh, I shouldn't use Darth Vader, but your possession. So it's gonna be his possession. Maybe I just imagine that, hey, this whole section is talking about you ask of me, and then the nation is yours and the earth is yours. Like that's the feeling that I'm gonna put on this area. Okay. Number 9, you shall break them with iron. So you is a big U. So let me try I'll use a mouse pad here. So the mouse is U. So it could be a big U. Uncle Sam is going, you shall break them with an iron. So I'm sorry, excuse me. I'm breaking this with an iron iron rod. Okay. So I'm breaking the, iron rod here. You shall break. You shall. So I use a shovel sometime for shovel, shall break, and maybe I'm breaking it with an iron rod. So rod of iron, and dash them in pieces like a potter's vessel. So and dash. So maybe I could use an ant. Ant is maybe pressing the dash sign on the keyboard. He's pressing it really hard, and then maybe there's a pot vessel, a clay pot here, and he's pressing the dashes, and it falls and it breaks into pieces. So and dash them in pieces like a potter's vessel. Ooh, this is gonna be tough to if you can't put it in one location, that's fine. Just use another room, an adjacent room. But I'm gonna try harder with this. I'm pretty sure I can do it because you just review and review. It just makes it easier. Okay. Verse 10. Now, therefore, now is now later. Can't really see this picture here. I'll move myself here. So there's a picture of a horse and a tree. So now, maybe there's now later. Here, these trees are now laters, and therefore, so from here, there's a golfer going therefore, or you can use forks, just forks there. Now, therefore, O kings. So I'll imagine kings on these horses. O kings, be wise. O kings, be wise. So this one would be a wise king. And then this one is a be warned. That's right. So bee, maybe there's a bumblebee on here, and then it's a wise bee, and then this is a warning bee, or maybe it'll say, I imagine, warning that says on this white horse, be warned, O rulers of the earth. So maybe I'll just use a kind of ruler. There's a ruler, a measuring ruler here, rulers of the earth, and I'm trying to measure the earth. Maybe the earth is here. O rulers of the earth. Okay, so now therefore, O kings, be wise, be warned, O rulers of the earth. Whew. Okay, verse 11, what did I say? This thing right here, right? This line here. Oh, this is good. It's easy. Serve the Lord with fear and rejoice with trembling. Serve the Lord. So I'm serving Darth Vader. Like I'm standing here and I'm serving Darth Vader with fear. I'm serving him, but I'm kind of scared, right? I'm fear. And rejoice. Rejoice is Joyce, my friend. And maybe she's trembling, or she's using a trombone, right? She's playing the trombone on here. So serve the Lord with fear, and Joyce is playing the trombone here for trembling, right? And then 12 is this chair. Let me see if I can get this chair in here. Okay, the chair. Kiss the Son. So maybe I'll imagine Jesus sitting on here, or the actual sun, like a sun is sitting on here, this portion right here, and you're kissing. I'm kissing the Son. All right. Lest he be angry. I know former pastor of mine was Lester, so I'll use Lester. He be angry. I imagine him maybe standing on here and he's being angry, and you perish in the way. So perish, I use Paris. So I use the Eiffel Tower that's in Paris. I always use that for perish, in the way. So Lester's being angry and he's carrying the Eiffel Tower on this chair. And maybe on the bottom, you can't really see it. For his wrath is quickly kindled. For his wrath. Maybe I just have an image of the wreath at the bottom here. You can't really see it. And then ultimately, blessed are all who take refuge in him. Blessed is sneezing. R is a pirate. All is an owl. who's blowing take refuge. So for me, I just imagine like maybe like a refugee camp, and then I'm sneezing on the refugee camp here. Okay. This one is kind of long, so I'm kind of breaking it up. I'm using this portion of the chair, this portion, the bottom stool portion, and then the floor is where the refugee camp is. Okay, so that's how I'm gonna memorize it. Just I might have to change the story, but work on it. So if anything, like what's gonna happen is at least I'll have an idea. So let me just start here. So right here is why. Um, So let's see. Why do the nations rage and the people plot in vain? The kings, or is it the kings shall set themselves, and the rulers will counsel all together or counsel together against the Lord and his anointed, something like that. Right. And then this one, let us bursting out. So let us, and they're bursting out of their chains. So let us burst out of the bonds and cast away the cords on us, or something like that. Let's see, right here was, oops, I have the picture of me over here. What is this? And then this portion was He-Man, he who sits in heaven laughs. And then this one, the Lord takes hold, and something about derision, right? And puts them in derision or something. Yeah, I got to work on this, as you can see. Then he, so he will, something about wreath, will speak to them in wrath, and terrify them with his fury, saying, right here, was as for me, right? As for me, I have set my king on the holy hills. This one is, I will tell the decree. The Lord said, you are my son. Today I have begotten you. This one is, I'm not going to get this at all, but it's ask of me. Yeah, ask of. I sometimes use oven. So ask of me, and the nation will be your heritage, and the earth will be your possession, something like that. And you shall break them with an iron rod, something like that. And then, and dash them to pieces. There's a pot, like a potter's vessel or something. Yeesh. I really got to work on this. And then, now therefore, O kings, be wise and be warned, O rulers of the earth. Here we go. Serve the Lord with fear and rejoice with trembling. Kiss the Son, lest he be angry and perish in his way. Ooh, something about wrath here. His wrath will be quickly kindled. Yeah, maybe I'll use a kindle here. And then blessed are all who take refuge in him. That's the best verse here. Like, talk about his wrath and all that stuff, and then, yeah, because we want to be our own king, right? But he gave us Jesus Christ in the end to, so that we could take refuge in him. And then those who are blessed, because ultimately, we don't have, Jesus Christ took our wrath, right? Took the punishment for us wanting to not bow down to Christ, not bow down to God. So yeah, I don't want to, sorry, just watch the sermon. It's such a great sermon. The gospel shared, share the sermon. The gospel is being shared, but yeah. So I'm going to work on this. And then, hopefully it gave you some ideas on how do you do it for yourself. But yeah, hope this helps. Keep memorizing scripture, keep, studying the scripture, obeying the scripture, praying, apply it to your lives so that you can please God and ultimately know God more, right? So hope this helps. Psalms 2. I'll do a video on Psalms 1 as well, but yeah, all right, that's it for today. Hope this helps. That's it. Thank you very much.